Well, hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is that time for a little Mike in the Midwest. And today we're going to have some fun. Get everything set here and we'll get started. Hope everybody's having a good week. Getting ready for an awesome Christmas. It's going to be a different type show. I've always wanted to try this one, so let's give this a shot. Let's give it a try, shall we? Excuse me. All right, episode 26. Holy smoly, how did that happen? 26. Here we go. Welcome to episode number 26 of Mike in the Midwest, a mini podcast for the patrons of the Be Our Guest podcast. This is Mike Rahman here, host of the Be Our Guest podcast. You can catch me hanging out over at beourguestpodcast.com, where you can get all of our podcasts. It's a great mobile responsive site. Maybe you haven't gone by there lately. It's a pretty simple site. It's got a link to all of our Instagrams and stuff like that on there. A lot of kind of fun information, but also most importantly, if you ever want to listen to any of the podcast episodes right away, boom, beourguestpodcast.com right there in your mobile browser, and it comes up, boom, hit the play button, and it's launched immediately. So it's a quick way to get the show, but we always do prefer that you subscribe to the show on whatever podcatcher you like. My personal favorite right now is Pocket Cast. That's a nice kind of it's got lots of options for your podcast listening, and I listen to probably 3 or 4 hours of shows a day. So it keeps track of everything. It actually even has a little feature that tells you how many minutes and hours you've listened to podcasts cumulatively since you started using the app, which for me is a little eye-opening because I think I'm, weeks and weeks of shows if you add them all up. So it's a lot. It's a nice little app. But of course, you can use Apple Podcasts. You can use Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, we're there, iHeartRadio. You can listen on Overcast, Shoutcast, all those places. So wherever you listen, please do subscribe, because that way you get the show immediately upon release. And it also helps us kind of have a consistent download, which helps us out a lot as well. All right. Hope you're having a great holiday season. We are getting very close to Christmas here. I know Hanukkah is going on, so those celebrating Hanukkah, hope you're having a nice celebration with friends and family as we record this one here on Thursday morning, December 17th, 2020. We are exactly 1 week away from Christmas Eve. That's right, 1 week. Next week will be at Christmas Eve, so we'll probably do Mike in the Midwest next Wednesday, so we can take off Christmas Eve. But we will not leave you without a show. We'll have a show maybe a day early, and you can listen to that at your leisure. Now, today, with Christmas coming on very soon, we are going to do something a little different. I like this show because it gives us an opportunity to try things that I've wanted to try. But of course, with the Be Our Guest podcast, we are laser focused on talking about Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, stuff like that, the Disney destinations. Today, we're going to kind of stray back to my childhood, back to when I was 10 years old here in St. Louis, Missouri, actually in Florissant, Missouri. And one of the traditions that we had in my grandparents' house was that my grandma, I don't know, and again, this was in the early to mid 80s. So I think this was common for a lot of folks, but I know it was very common for my grandma Ruth. She had lots and lots of catalogs from places at her house. And so every Sunday, I think I've talked about this on other shows, we went to church on Sunday mornings. My whole family did. My grandparents went to the same church. And after church on Sundays, we go back to my grandparents' house at noon and have lunch at their house. Every Sunday after church, it was back to grandma's house for lunch. Now, this time of the year, it was always awesome because we'd have our nice lunch. And of course, as soon as, we got done with lunch, we'd put on the TV and you'd have the football games on. And it was a big deal to watch football games because you didn't get all of the games in the 80s. You got a few select games, and you never got your home team's games because they were always blacked out. Now, when I was a kid, of course, I was a huge fan of the St. Louis Cardinals, which, if you don't know, the St. Louis Cardinals were our football team. Not only our baseball team, but our football team. It's kind of confusing because growing up, we had 2 St. Louis Cardinals teams in our town. Of course, the Cardinals baseball team's kind of it's what the identity of St. Louis is all about. But the football Cardinals were a big deal. They were a good, bad team growing up. They never could really make the playoffs, but they could be good enough to almost make the playoffs. And we really did love the team. I remember our quarterback was Jim Hart when I was a kid. We also had Neil Lomax, and we had some good teams, but we never could get over the hump because we were in that NFC East with the Cowboys and the Redskins. And back in the day, that was a big deal. Now, right now, if you could win 6 games, you're probably going to win the Super Bowl out of the NFC East. So anyway, so we rooted for the football Cardinals. And if, we might see Dallas or the Skins or somebody play, but you watch the games after Sunday, Sunday dinner. And then what we would do around this time of the year, Grandma had all these catalogs in a rack, kind of to the back of the living room. And so what you would do is you could go through the catalogs, and she had catalogs for stores like Montgomery Ward. I don't know if you remember them. She had a catalog always for Dalgens. I don't know if that is a Midwest thing, but it was one of those. It was a catalog store. She also had service merchandise. I don't know if you had those as well. We had a store called Best, B-E-S-T. You had a catalog for that. And of course, every year, most importantly, you had 2 of the major catalogs. You had the JCPenney catalog, and you also had the Sears Wishbook. So what we would do is we got closer to Christmas. We would go in, and I've mentioned this before, you would go into those catalogs, and it was usually the Sears Wishbook or the JCPenney catalog, and sometimes, Montgomery Ward or say a service merchandise. And what we would do is we would each get a highlighter or a marker of a certain color, and we kind of make a key at the front of the catalog, because my cousins would come up from Poplar Bluff sometimes as well. And you would circle the things that you would love to have for Christmas. And so, that's where you got your ideas for Christmas. That and Saturday morning cartoon commercials were a good source of what you might want for Christmas. So we would go through these catalogs and check things out. Now, one of the cool things is, if you're looking for nostalgia and going back to your childhood, you can go to the internet and you can find these old catalogs and kind of look at the stuff that you were longing for as a 9, 10, 12-year-old, 6-year-old, whatever it is. If you go to the website wishbookweb.com, they have scanned in all of these old Sears Wishbooks. And so you can go back and look at some of the things that you thought were really cool when you were a kid and that you really wanted and maybe that you got. Now, again, remember, we're going to be talking about this stuff as well this Sunday night on the Be Our Guest podcast live call-in show. It's our holiday tradition show. We're going to put Disney to the back this Sunday night, unless it has something to do with your holiday traditions. But we're going to talk about maybe a favorite toy you got at Christmas time or during the holidays of your childhood, something you always wanted that you didn't get, maybe a tradition you have as to how you celebrate, maybe a favorite food or a favorite snack or a favorite dish you have at dinner. So yeah, get those holiday traditions ready for this Sunday night. We're going to do that at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central on the Facebook and YouTube pages. But today I thought it would be kind of fun to do something that is totally random. It's a Thursday, we're just trying to make it to Christmas, right? We got a week to go. And so what I did was I pulled up the Wishbook web, the Sears Wishbook from 1983. So at this time, this would have been when I was 10 years old. And I'm sure that I went through this Wishbook at my grandma's house. I'm almost positive. And what I'm going to do is hit random page numbers on this website, because as I look at the website, it goes all the way up to page 613 scanned. I don't know if that associates with the actual page. It doesn't. That's a little bit off from the page numbers. Like I'm on page 114 and it's showing 112 in the actual catalog. So if you want to follow along and kind of check some of this stuff out, I will give the page numbers from the website if you want to go back and check out some of these items. But as I was going through here, I was looking at some of the stuff that would have caught my eye as a kid, and it still does as an adult. And again, I'm just going to skip a bunch of pages. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but this is kind of a, nostalgia trip. Maybe you wanted these things. Maybe you got some of these things. Maybe you still have some of these things. They could be worth something. I do not know. So I kind of opened it up and I went through all the clothes and all that stuff, because that stuff's boring, right? Clothes from 1983. Wow, that's not great. So I finally got to a page, and it's page 114 on the website, and it says characters for Christmas. And what this page is, this is a page that I would have, can you get that? That I would have used, or I would have liked to have circled things on this page when I was a kid, because it's a bunch of watches, right? Wristwatches. And so they have all kinds of character watches. Remember, these were big in the 1980s. And as I look on here, it's kind of ironic because I have something on my wrist that is similar in 2020 to what was here in the Sears Wishbook on 1983. And what is it? It's a Mickey Mouse watch. Of course, the Mickey Mouse watches have been around for decades and decades. And there's one here for the kids, 1999. You can get your Mickey Mouse watch. Unfortunately, my Apple Watch with Mickey on it, a little bit more expensive than 1999, but it does a little bit more probably than this one. This one just, all he did was tell time and his arms moved. We also have, as I'm looking here, you had, this was the thing to get, right? ET watches. You had to get an ET watch. They have those. Those are about $20. You had strawberry shortcake watches. You had Smurfs. I'm looking at some Pac-Man watches. Now that'd have been something. Now here's the thing. The Pac-Man watch is digital. Now that was a big deal back in the day. It's not an analog watch. And I think it even had a light on the side. It had a light button so you could light it up and see it at night. That was pretty cool. As I look, there's some Care Bear watches. Holy cow. There's a Mr. T watch as well. There's a Garfield. So who had those watches, right? Everybody wanted a watch when you were a kid. And it was a big deal in this time to get something that, was digital. And I know it sounds crazy, but it was a big deal to get something that was not analog, which is kind of crazy. All right. So I'm going to skip around here to some more pages, and I'm looking, and I just came up on page 144 because I'm just jumping around, just kind of having some fun today. It's the page with slippers. You got to keep your feet warm, right? And on this page, who would not have wanted these? They have Garfield slippers. They have Snoopy slippers. They have a pink bunny, an elephant. I guess if you're an Alabama fan, that would work. And a bear. So there you go. Keep those feet warm. $8.99 for slippers. Oh, here we go. I just went to page 156, I think it is. No, 150. And now you're getting to something that your parents would have liked for you to ask for, right? Because it's practical, but as a kid, you would think it was awesome. I'm looking at like their bedroom sets. And so the one I'm looking at is a Garfield bedroom set. So it's got like the pillowcases with Garfield on it, a big comforter, the sheets. It's even got like a Garfield plush that's up in the corner of the window. Remember the Garfield clock? You would have to have that, right? The Garfield clock, you picked it up, his eyes opened up, or maybe his eyes closed when you picked it up. But yeah, this is a whole bedroom set for Garfield. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the next page, holy cow, you could do your whole life Garfield, because on the next page, 151, you got a Garfield trash can for your room, like a metal trash can, kind of oval shaped. You also had a Garfield lunch box, plastic lunch box with that old thermos. Remember the thermos you'd flip over and it would become kind of like a drinking cup, or you could put your soup in it. I took soup a lot of times when it was cold. Yeah, there's Garfield everything, little notepads and cereal bowls and coffee mugs and tins. I never really got into Garfield too much, but yeah. Oh, on the next page, we got Smurf pajamas. That's one of the things you had to have, right? And it's still a tradition in our family. You got to have Christmas pajamas. And so this one has all the kids of all different ages with their Smurfs pajamas. Of course, I don't know why it was, but in the 80s, were our pajama sets like the top and the bottoms, were they not like skin tight? I think they said they had to have them like that for fire, something to keep you from, if your house caught on fire or something. I don't know, that's what I always heard. But yeah, they were always like skin tights. Let's see what else we have. We're going to kind of jump through here. Oh, sleeping bags. Oh, now we're into the toys. Okay, let's get into the toys. Sleeping bags are boring. So I'm on page 165 and I'm looking at some toys. And of course, what have I not mentioned? And it's a Disney property right now. How about Star Wars? Yes. On this page, I just randomly hit. It's got plush Ewoks. It's got Wicket the Ewok, right? He's number 17. How much was little Wicket the Ewok? Trying to see here. 17. $11.99. Not bad. Not bad. Also, you had the pajamas. This kid has on pajamas. He's got Return of the Jedi pajamas with the Return of the Jedi logo, but it has an Ewok on it. He also has a blaster. It looks like Han Solo's blaster. He's all business. He's getting ready to shoot somebody. $17.99 for your blaster there. It also has the TIE fighters, X-Wing fighters, the Y-Wing fighters. Oh my gosh. If you were a Star Wars fan, this was the page you landed on. Of course, you had the pajamas. You also had, oh my gosh, you had Star Wars underoos. Remember underoos? You had your underwear and your shirt that went with it. Looked like a rock star. Oh my gosh, so many Star Wars toys. You have all the action figures. How much were those? $9. Stuff was so cheap back then. $7.99. Oh my gosh, how much would you pay for one of those right now? Probably $799. There's even a whole Jabba the Hutt palace set where Jabba's on this thing. It's got R2D2 upside down, getting his feet smoked out like it did. It's crazy stuff. If you're a Star Wars fan, you got to drop into the Wishbook and check out all this stuff. All right, let's move on. Let's just click a few more buttons here and see what we got. We got a big strawberry shortcake bedroom set for the girls with, oh my goodness, this is a huge strawberry shortcake dollhouse with all the, my sister was really into strawberry shortcake, so I remember having them around. But all the the girl with the blue hair, the girl with the pink hair, strawberry shortcake's there with her big hat. But yeah, it's a big dollhouse and a bunch of dolls. It doesn't say how much it is. Trying to see. You get a $10 rebate though, so it must be super expensive. All right, skipping around. More pajamas. Man, pajamas were big in 1980. Another set of pajamas. Oh my gosh. These pajamas were made by, it says they're called NFL Huddles. And what they are, these aren't even pajamas. These are jerseys that you would wear as a younger kid. And what they are NFL branded jerseys for kids, younger kids. And it's got the NFL teams, but it has like cartoony mascot. So it has like the Miami Dolphins, but it's a cute little dolphin. It's not the real dolphin. The Cincinnati Bengals, but it's a little cute tiger, not a mean looking tiger. I'm just trying to see another couple. It's got the Oakland Raiders, but he's like smiling with his eye patch under his football helmet. The Eagles is this cute little eagle. Those are kind of strange, but those are actually really kind of cool too at the same time. All right, let's get through and see what else we got. A bunch of girls' clothes, boring, and some boys' clothes, boring. Got Levi's. Levi's were big, it looks like. Also, action suits. Velour action suits were very popular, as well as NFL like warm-up suits, like that matched. They kind of look like that red jacket that I wear sometimes when I do the podcast from Disney that I got this past summer. But yeah, they're pretty cool. And another thing that I've seen a lot in this Wishbook are athletic bags, like duffel bags. There's all kinds of duffel bags. When I look back, I guess we did have duffel bags a lot in the 80s, but I see one for the Dallas Cowboys, very cool looking, and I see another for the Washington Redskins. Very nice. A lot of velour and the fashion of this time. And apparently Levi's made the sport coats. Like almost everything in here is Levi's too. I don't know how all this stuff works, but maybe Levi's was in with Sears. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. Got a lot of plaid shirts, another plaid page of plaid shirts. There's more of your warm-ups. It's like a blue or red or a green warm-up suit that's got the 3 stripes down the leg, and it's got the 3 stripes on the arms, on the zip-up jacket. You got a shirt to wear under. Oh, you got to have a headband, right? You got to have a headband. Oh my gosh, that's so 80s. That's pretty awesome. Next page, you got some mailboxes. You got some pocket knives in case you need a pocket knife. Those suckers would look big. See what else we have in this book as we scan through here. Oh, they even sold food. Holy cow, it's a whole page of fruitcakes. Are you kidding me? Fruitcakes and like in tins, so you can mail these off to friends and family if you really don't like them. I had no idea that the Wishbook had fruitcakes. Oh, next, I'm scanning up to page 336. It's all the trimmings for your Christmas tree, and it has one of the things that I asked my wife if she saw this year to please pick up for our Christmas tree. And as I look, item number 10 are cardinal birds with little clippy feet. My grandma back in the day on their Christmas tree, they always had 2 or 3 red cardinal birds, and they were life size. They were about the same size you would see of a cardinal bird outside your window on a tree. And they just clipped right there on a branch. And I don't know, again, not a St. Louis Cardinal like the baseball logo, even though it looks the same. I associate cardinals with the winter because a lot of times you'll see them like after a freshly fallen snow, and maybe just because they pop against the snow. Oh, going back. Oh my gosh, I just missed it. Let me go back to that. I saw something that reminded me of my childhood. Yes. So in the Christmas decoration section here, you have a bunch of those big plastic light up characters that you would have for your front yard. Now you don't see these as much anymore, but like the big Santa, and they were probably about 3 or 4 feet tall, and they would light up. Also, we never had Santa at my house, but we did have these light up candles that went on either side of our front door. and you would plug them in. Obviously, they ran on electricity. They were probably, I would say again, about 3 feet tall. They were totally made out of plastic, and they would light up. And there were a lot of people had those when I was a kid, but you don't see those anymore. You see the candles inside the windows, but these were candles that were outside. And, you had all this plastic, like Frosty the Snowman would light up, and, some reindeer, stuff like that. Interesting. All right. Scanning through here. Again, now I'm up to page 372. Each item on these 2 pages is a Wishbook value priced from $5 to $10. So some of the things I see from $5 to $10 on this page, a set of serving fork and serving knives. That's kind of interesting. A pig that is actually a towel holder. I guess that'd be for your bathroom, like a pig's head. 4 coffee mugs and a spice rack, complete with 10 spices. Very nice. And a little mixer. Huh. Less than $10. That's interesting. All right. See what else we got. Boring waffle makers. Let's see. I'm just skipping through. Here we go. Oh, look at this. Holy smokes. So this page, I just hit 384 by random. You get a microwave oven. Now, what do they call it? It's a micro/convection oven that combines the speed of a microwave with the hot air browning of a convection oven. How much do you say would a convection/microwave oven go for in 1983? Guess. The bargain price of $569. That would have been pretty cool. Oh my gosh, I just skipped up to page 390. And for only $149.99, an electric typewriter can be yours. Let's see if we can see the brand name. I don't see who it's by, but you can get a desk with it as well. Man, that is state of the art there, an electric typewriter. Holy cow. Actually, I'm doing this podcast on an electric typewriter. No, just kidding. I'm not. Next page, we have the old rotary telephones you could get from American Bell, or you can get one of those digital telephones that, use the touch tone on from GTE. That is $59.99. The rotary one is number 3. Trying to see here. It is about $72. You also have answering machines. They're really talking about answering machines, like one of the latest things. Oh, on the next page, this will catch your attention. The Mickey Mouse telephone that is at Pop Century outside that one building, right? The big, tall Mickey standing up. He's holding on to the phone right there, number 6. And then next to him, there's a Kermit the Frog phone where he's sitting in a chair, kind of lounging back, and you have the receiver. Oh, God, I'd love to have one of those. Oh, and I see one that I actually had. Number 2 on this page. Again, I'm on page 392 of the Wishbook. It's got the, of course, the handheld, the receiver, it's wired, so it's got a cord, but it has these gigantic buttons. It's white, and it's got gigantic buttons to push to dial the phone. Oh my gosh, I had one of those exactly like that. It had the big button. I don't know. It was like the coolest thing ever. So yeah, the telephones were cool back in the day. If you had a phone in your room, that was like the greatest thing ever. All right, there's a little $9.99 one. Then you got your start your own cordless network with Murphaphone. And it's got a phone, it's got a wireless phone, and it's also got an answering machine all built into one. Man, it's so funny. All this technology has disappeared. All right, let's move on. Let's go up to page 400 as we're working through the Sears Wishbook from 1983. Now we're getting up to the TVs. All right, let's talk about TVs. Big games, big movies, big stars, big news, big reasons for owning Sears big screen TV. Let's see how big this is. It is a solid, the solid look of oak makes this 25-inch remote control color TV the center of attention. $619.95. And you yourself can have an oak cased 25-inch color TV and be the envy of all your neighbors. Actually, also there is a Sears stereo video disc player. And you can have that, it says, for your den or your office for the slim price of $299.99. I feel like I'm in Carousel of Progress, right? Here's another big console remote color TV, 25-inch, $549.95 on the next page. Now we're talking. We're getting affordable. Let's see what else we got. Scanning through here a little bit more. One of the things I do remember seeing as a kid was like remote control cars. That's something I always wanted. I'm trying to get up to more of the toys. Oh, here we go. Spice up your life with a personal portable stereo. How about little Walkmans with the fuzzy foam headphones for your ears? These people wearing them in the picture, they're having the time of their lives. They have transistor AM FM radios. They have a cassette slot, and that is it. And these run about $40. Not too bad. Let's see here. Scanning through, there's some musical instruments, bunch of cookbooks. This page is totally random. It's got like rifles and like Western wear, like chaps, and I don't even know what else. That's a weird page. A pool table. How about a pool table? $400 or $500? Not bad. That'd always be fun. I always thought it'd be kind of fun to have a pool table. Of course, in the Wishbook, you always had your workout stuff, your weights. You know, you had your bench press and your heavy bag and boxing gloves and all that stuff. Of course, everybody's doing aerobics back in '83. Yeah, that's kind of fun. You got to have that stuff. How about a basketball hoop? I always wanted a basketball hoop. And actually, one year I did get one. We had one in my backyard growing up, and God, I shot baskets forever on that thing. I loved it because you could do it by yourself. Just go out there and shoot. Oh my gosh, next page. I'm up to 461 BMX bikes. And if I'm looking at this one looks really similar to the one I had. It's a blue bike with yellow mag wheels, right? Those plastic, the mag wheels. It's got the crossbar on the handlebars with the pads, and then the accessories down at the bottom, which everybody had to have. You had I don't know if you remember this, but on your BMX bike, you had a number plate, right? You would have like a number plate across the front. You'd put your number. You would put stickers that you would get at the store. God, I love that stuff. That stuff was awesome. This number has 37, but I think I had 21. Of course, you got a bunch of swing sets. If you're a little bit younger, you always wanted a cool swing set, right? With like a Ford at the top or something like that. Nice. Moving on. Let's see what else we got here in the Wishbook as we have a couple more minutes. Oh my gosh, my cousin had this thing. It sticks out at me. What is this thing called? The glow worm. It was like this green worm that had a yellow face and it lit up at night. And I remember my cousin Chris had one of those because I didn't see him very much. He lived about 3 hours away, but he did have one of these. He's about 3 years younger than me. And I always thought the thing was kind of freaky and kind of cool at the same time with the glow worm. $9.99. Not too bad. There's a Mr. Potato Head set. Classic Disney right there. Let's see what else. Little kid toys. What else is fun? More little kid toys. Let's get to the big kid toys. Sears beginner typewriter. Oh my gosh, there's like a little push car that I had. Continuing on, I want to see some big kid toys. Nothing there. I got a lot of Barbie sets with like swimming pools and picnic tables and a little changing room. That is crazy. I got definitely look like the sign of the times. More babies. I was never into that. Let's see. Barbie gourmet kitchen. Okay, that looks kind of fun, I guess. Let's see here. This is pretty funny. A blackboard set. If it shows like a little boy, he's in some Dockers and like a polo shirt he would wear to school, and he's doing equations on his blackboard. It looks like me, later on when I was teaching, when I was, 26, 27, only this kid's like 5 and he's teaching the class on his blackboard. Then you could flip it over and it was a magnetic board on the back side. Nice. For the future teachers of the world, they were getting a blackboard for Christmas in '83. See what else we have here. Oh, I never got one of these, but I always thought it would be pretty fun. A rock tumbler. Sorry about the dog. A rock tumbler, right? You get the rocks and you put them in this case and it spins them around. I guess it spits them out as jewelry. I guess I never had one, but I always thought that'd be cool. Be a little junior geologist or something. Very cool. There's a moccasin making kit. That's pretty cool. Oh, science-minded fun. You remember those sets where it'd be like 100 projects in one? You could get them at Radio Shack. So it'd be like an electronics board and you could like make a buzzer happen or an alarm or a light bulb light up. Yeah, I always wanted one of those. Never got one of those either. It's kind of strange because I ended up teaching science, but I never got one of those. Weird. All right, let's look at a few more things here as we got a couple seconds left. Radio control cars. Now we're talking. There's a Jeep. Oh my gosh, I would have killed for that back in the day. $59.99 for a die-hard muzzler Jeep. Remote control vehicle. There's another one, a Jeep Renegade. Now that's more my speed right there because it's a Wrangler. Here's what I was going to talk about radio controlled airplanes. Now, this is in 1983, people. I always thought this would be so cool. Of course, I never got one because they were too expensive. This one, the number one, it's like a Cessna model little remote control airplane, $429. And I think I did ask for it one year. My dad was like, yeah, right. That thing, for one, it probably won't fly. And for two, if it does, it'll fly once, it'll crash, and it'll be out $400. But I do not know how these worked back in the day, because of course now I know you can fly a drone, because like quadcopters and so forth, they're more stable and they can stay up a lot easier. But yeah, these were a thing. I didn't know because I remember seeing these in catalogs and always wanted one. But even all the way back to 83, remote control airplanes. Interesting. Huh. Always wanted one of those. You got a bunch of G.I. Joe stuff if you're into that. You got the airplanes and the characters. Then you got a lot of board games like Chutes and Ladders, the Pink Panther, Hi-Ho Cheerio, Mother Goose, Perfection. I hated Perfection. It freaked me out. Cooties. Remember the old game of Cooties? How about Memory, Candyland, Computer Caper? What about Ultimate Dominoes, Domino Rally? Yes, I had Domino Rally. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. What else? Got a couple of seconds left. Oh, we just hit the jackpot. How about the mini tabletop arcade games, right? They look like the arcade machines. They're probably about a foot tall. They're maybe like 9 inches tall. I'm seeing Ms. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, and Q*bert. Oh my gosh, those things were awesome. How much were they? They were $44.99 each, but you got a $10 rebate. Yes. Mini arcade units. Sign me up. And remember those old kind of driving games? They were like little handheld games. Yeah, they were on here too. Simon. Remember the old Simon? You had to copy the pattern. That was there. Let's see what else real quick, because we're coming to the end. We've got more handheld electronics. Of course, you have all of your Atari systems and your Atari games. I'm looking your choice on these Atari games. Berserk, these are $16 games. Yar's Revenge, Berserk, Arcade Pinball. Let's see here. Warlords. Haunted House is $12.99. $19.99. You're stepping up to Asteroids. Defender. Nice. Good stuff. God, those are the days when you got an arcade game, you were in there. Then you have some really cheap games. $5.99. Outer Space. Steeplechase. Dodge Cars. Nobody wanted to play those. I guess. I don't know. So it's kind of a fun, and you had the Odyssey 2. That was kind of another home game system, but it wasn't obviously ever going to compete with the Atari 2600. So fun stuff. You also had the Vectrex as well. That was interesting. So that's kind of it for today's Mike in the Midwest. I hope that maybe some of those things I mentioned brought you a bit of nostalgia. Maybe you had something like that. Maybe you didn't. But I think this is kind of a fun exercise this time of the year. So I'm going to encourage you to go to wishbookweb.com. Check out the year. Maybe you were 9, 10, 8. Go through, just hit some, random pages and see what's out there. Maybe show your kids, just have fun with it, because it's definitely a trip down memory lane, which is what this show is meant to be. And of course, again, this is to get your mind going for this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Please call in with some of your memories, like that remote control airplane I always wanted but never got. And I'm probably better off by not getting it, because I'm sure it was junk. But, tell us what you wanted, what you got, traditions from your family. We're going to share those and then put that out on Christmas Eve on the podcast feed. Again, I hope you're having a great week. I hope you're getting ready for an amazing Christmas with friends and family. Hope you're having a wonderful Hanukkah if you're celebrating that. I just appreciate you guys so much. I care about you guys, and I hope you always enjoy these shows, the Be Our Guest podcast, because I'm always trying to come up with good ideas and ways to keep you entertained, whether you're driving down the road or whether you're running a couple of miles or just taking the dog for a walk. I always want to be something that, gives you a smile. We can share a laugh and maybe a nice memory as well. So until we talk again next week, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Bye, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it.